Greetings and welcome to small Jake Head in the corner and our esteemed guest,
Giant Chris, taking up most of the screen.
Welcome to this episode of Fablorian, now incorporating a green screen, so that we can be on the screen at the same time.
Took us 2 months to incorporate the green screen.
We spared no expense.
It's really hard
That was
putting the green screen up.
Look, I almost fell getting to the corner over there.
It's very high. Your ceilings are very vaulted in here. The 7 foot.
It's like a palace. We can get to the dynasty and talk about that. Anyways, so good. We're finally back. Sorry for the pause, but life gets busy.
Yeah.
So how's life been?
It's been good. It's been real good.
Oh, I forgot. We also have our esteemed off-camera guest, Pokey Penguin, aka the wife, aka Beth, aka for what?
AKA the Peanut Gallery.
Life finds a way.
Yeah, I was gonna get there.
You were not.
It's like, I'm not wearing any Jurassic Park stuff. All right. Now that we've lost half of our audience in 30 seconds, thanks for tuning in. So, what's the news?
Nothing much, man. New Pokemon.
New Pokemon, that's true. So we have a couple of topics. We only have 5 topics today, which, for better or for worse, means that we will have a relatively short, maybe a long video here. I'm not really sure where we'll go. With the what's new, just in general in life, how's it been since we really got to see you last?
It's been relatively good. Nothing new is going on. Family's good.
Play any games recently, or
nothing super new. If anything, a new old game.
What is that?
The Wrath of the Lich King Classic just launched.
Wowing it up.
I am. I am playing on a fresh server, and it is wonderful. Everybody started at level 1, so it brings me back to my peak of video gaming.
So
it's a nice blast from the past.
So you're a WoW aficionado, right?
I sort of am.
Have you seen my here? Go grab this right next to you there. See that box?
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, grab that. Yeah.
The
so
Nixia's Lair.
Yeah, have you seen this?
Is the original.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna fall out, but that is special to me. And what's interesting is this is from the WoW TCG, and this is player versus environment. So I don't know if you're familiar with that terminology.
I'm an avid MMOer. So
okay. Well, for the audience, what does PvE mean?
It basically means you're playing against the computer only.
Interesting. Okay. So what if I told you that the game that we started talking about
PvE
is going
VP.
toward PvE?
VP.
VP. What is that? Victory points?
No. PvE is player versus environment. PvE VP is player versus environment versus player. PvE
BPV A B C D E F G H I J K L M N O P alphabet soup.
That's where you get to.
Okay.
Eventually.
I was like,
that's where you get to.
Oh, so okay, you've been playing a lot of WoW.
Yeah.
I have not been doing terribly too much other than trying to organize crap and get things together. And I got this really cool video that came out. This is Genesis Battle of Champions, which we're going to be talking to you about here in a little bit. This is one of the topics that we're going to talk about today. Actually, that happens to be the first topic of the day.
Wow, you segued into that so smoothly.
Just like our sponsors.
Wow, just like our sponsors. Right, we're sponsored by
Nobody. We're not important around here.
I got the laugh peanut gallery.
Oh,
I cued the laugh sign.
My laugh is broken.
My laugh is broken. Oh God! All right.
Paying you.
So.
Pizza slices.
In pizza, yeah. Your fees are in pizza land.
Pizza and what is that? Caramel apple hard cider.
You didn't buy that. I got it from the fridge.
He bought it.
Okay, nope, I bought it.
Damn it! You're paying yourself.
It's new old stock.
It's new old stock. Is that what you're saying?
All right, so we're gonna hit you with Genesis. So I'm gonna pass you this just for a second. So that's
backwards. Am I supposed to look at it only this way?
Well, no. I just wanted to show you that's the card. So this is the game Genesis, Battle of Champions. This is the 2-player starter, Idris versus Raha. So there are 2 decks, and tonight you will be going home with one of these 2 decks.
Hey!
So that we can learn to play and
giveaways. Woohoo!
And we got
like and subscribe.
We got a bunch of random stuff to cover today, but basically this game I do not know how to play currently, and once we learn how to play, we're going to probably come back and do a how to play video at some point. But the core interesting concept about this game that I've been explained is that it is more like a chess meets TCG. You play on a grid, and your cards and characters have different attack patterns and vectors.
Can you pull that card up on the screen
so I
they
can
see that?
You want you'll disappear for a second.
That's
so you
fine.
want
They don't want to see my ugly mug anyway.
You want that? All right. So yeah, there's like different attack vectors and such. So here are the 2 starter decks. Now this is a stack of cards that I got within the there were booster packs that were also provided as kind of an addition. So Joey passed those over from Genesis. He has his own YouTube channel, but called Decks and Drafts.
And you'll link it in the description below.
Yeah, he I think watches multiple content creators, but
Sweet.
Interestingly enough, he went from being, I would say, a fab connoisseur. I'm sure he likes every game, but now he works for Genesis. So that's after talking with him, he was the gentleman that we got to speak of, and the video that's on the channel actually just kind of covered some of these. But these are some of the cards that were pulled in the booster packs. What's neat is some of these, like this is 3 different skeletons. So like there's one that has a regular back, and it's a common, and then there's a skeleton that has like an aura back of some sort. Again, I got to look at the rules here to figure that out. Which that is this giant. Here, this is the playmat. You can put that down. So, ta-da! We can't fit it all on screen.
We're really organized.
Yeah, I know. This podcast is all over the place.
So it's a
Vlog.
grid system board layout.
Yeah. So like this skeleton would be able to attack like what, 1 further up?
Yeah, like one in front of him basically.
That's what it looks
according
like.
to that.
And then here is your current rule book.
But yeah, so showing off some of the cards here.
Well, you're a
the
little.
artwork is super cool.
Now you're on.
The artwork is super cool. I don't even know if you can hear me very well right now, but.
Well, yeah, because you're getting side pickup from the NTG2 up here. But
there's a Facebook message or a
one
Discord message.
One of the things that and that's probably your good call. I'm going to mute my audio on there. Perfect. One of the most interesting things that I found about this so far is that the idea of a card game going beyond the I play versus an opponent. So similar to Star Wars Legion, Warhammer, Infinity, games that have a tabletop presence where you are physically moving things around and doing different actions. That to me is pretty sweet. That's I guess in the starter decks there's a turn order card that you get as well. But what is interesting to me for the most part is that the game, it kind of is like 3D chess, but it's not necessarily 3D yet. It's just more like it's.
So is it like the chess game that is played in the original Star Wars?
Well, you mean there's not a chess game in Star
I don't
Wars.
remember what it's called.
It's technically
Chewbacca gets pissed because he loses.
It's
loses.
Well, it's
and Han's
the
like, he
D-Jark.
doesn't like to lose.
It's called the D-Jark board.
But yeah, but 3D chess. That's kind of what that made me think of. You know what I mean?
I actually need to remember.
That is a super cool
What is
card.
the actual name? It's the D-Jark. It's a holographic chess. It's called Holo Chess, but it's technically DEJARIK.
You just said it wasn't chess.
Okay.
Did you hear him say that?
I did.
It wasn't chess.
You did.
Only lies from my mouth.
Oh, that's a cool card, too.
So
This is like a spell card as well, or something, because it says cast and it's like an.
yeah, I've noticed
like
that
a fork
there
here.
seem to be some creatures. There seem to be some various like spells.
That says summon golem. If you guys can't read that, so this is some kind of golem. Summon tiger. Yeah, so it looks like there's some spells you can do as well. Maybe that attack off of your character or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's gonna be fun to figure out how to play this because it looks neat.
Well, and what's interesting is on the back of these boxes, there's 2 character classes. There's more than 2 character classes, but these are the 2 that the starters come with. I'm more drawn toward the Raha, and that's mostly because the artwork. I have discovered that I've found that I like the artwork on Raha more. But the
Is this the Raha deck right here? Or is
no,
this the other one?
those are just booster packs.
Oh,
so
these are just.
this is just
isn't even the play
this
deck
isn't even the
that
play
you get?
decks. Those were part of boost. So you'll see at the bottom some of these are commons, and they might have already gone through the rares. I think they were in the front. Yeah, so like
Yeah,
these
'cause
were
these
the
are
rares
yeah, these are all commons now.
or whatever.
So this is like, you know, you buy like a $5 pack to supplement the deck you have.
Yes,
and
you
it's
can.
random what you get.
And what's interesting is what's in these two boxes here. We did hit some, like there's duplicate rare, like some of the rares when I opened these packs earlier. So like Bolt Shot, that was one of the ones that's in the Raha deck, and then the Angels in one. This Lightless Tipicana or whatever is in the, I believe, the Idris deck or the Idra deck. So
That's cool.
there's kind of a parallel there, but Raha is best aware of all champions and can deal with flyers, and then Idra's strength is Fireball ability gives her unique advantages, which has unbound damage. Then there's a little section for lore on the back of these things, so you can kind of, you know, find that there's some lore that is part of it. But, I mean, I'm not necessarily opposed to one or the other, unless are you more like, do you play that style? Or
I don't mind either. I mean, it's just us learning anyway.
This,
right?
yeah, and I figure we'll play at least a couple different games where we trade off and try different,
Yeah, for
aspects.
Sure. See, now what makes, I mean, we don't know how to play, right? Obviously, but can either of these decks use any of these boosters? Do we know that yet?
I will be reaching out to Joe once we do our first game, and then we have one.
It would be interesting if, like, you know, well, this hero can't use Gust because of this or this. You know what I mean?
And that's where I think these symbols come into play. Is this is kind of your
yeah.
deck makeup. So because they match, I think you can use that card.
Or at least
but
maybe
like,
they have one icon
I
matches.
believe that might be part of it. There's a lot of rules I do need to check on. But the good news is that I do have access to being able to ask questions, and I think once we do the first round of, okay, we've played one, we maybe have some questions, we'll get all that together, ask Joey, and say, hey, I want to learn more.
Speaking of which, shout out to him. It was really nice of him to send that to you.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
We could,
I appreciate
we could test
that.
it out and play it, you know?
And
yeah, so
I'm
that was all the booster cards that you got here.
I'm all about trying new games. So here's, if you want to look at some of those, that's the Raha, and this is the Idris deck. But you'll have one hero, so it's 50 card decks, I know that much. So this is, you're going to have one of these as your hero, then the rest of this is your deck, and then there's like this aura thing. I don't know what these do just yet, but this is your deck. We could probably technically read over the rules now and try to look at it, but I didn't think we want to do that on the video here.
We don't have to do that right now. We can do that because, you know, we're going to have a lot of questions.
Yeah. And I do think it's interesting in the quick start. It says, disclaimer, this rulebook does not have all the info, but this is just how to quickly play, which I do like that there is a get you up and playing. And I did say this in my other video, but I'll restate it here because I think it's very important to say. The fact that they put the rules on the back of a poster means that the longevity of this piece of paper is not something I'm going to throw away, because there is something pretty I can put on a wall. It's also something that means that, you know, even if the rules in this are outdated, I can still leverage it in another way. And just like the grid here, the grid is, you know, on the back of one of the posts. So, kind of nice. They thought that through thoroughly.
So that's the hero that comes in the Raha pack. Obviously, it is Raha.
Yeah, and if you look just at the two heroes, you'll notice a couple things. So this one here, Idris attacks in front, but Raha... Dang, sorry. Goes at look basically kind of like a Tetris block in front of it. But they both have,
and they use different cards. It looks like.
Yeah. So see, like this has 1 fire, this has 0, 125, 95, 25 health, 22 health. I at least know the health piece, but you can kind of start to figure some of it out just by looking at the cards. But then there's different.
The Raha, the one you said you wanted to use?
I think I would enjoy the Raha mostly because I like in pretty much every game, like Star Wars.
Don't lie, you think she's cute.
Well, okay. I play like Imperial Sniper in Star Wars SOTOR, so like I pretty much like to not be a beat. I'm not like a brute beat face kind of person. I'm more like a hey, look, I'm in the background doing my thing. And
well, looking at these, there's a lot of brute punching and stuff cards in here.
Smash.
Yeah, we need to get a light over this in the future.
What?
A light over this in the future. See how it's a little darker on the left side?
Well, if you want,
I
watch
think
this.
it's because no.
No, you would say which camera is that's 5, right?
Yeah, the one directly above you. Opposite direction. There we go. There we go. There we go.
I think I'm as maxed out as I'm gonna get. Oh, it could be my iris. Yeah, anyways, you're fine.
It's okay. It's still seeable. I mean, we're only looking at the artwork in this, right?
If I had more, see, the next thing is if I get a little bit more green screen, I could technically throw back you there. We could have this camera on, then I could have me and you in the opposite corners.
Yeah, so the artwork on all these cards are super neat.
But anyways, that was kind of the quick segment into that. Is that was one of the topics I wanted to talk about today. Was that we do have access to this game now. We're going to definitely learn it. We're going to figure out kind of the ins, the outs, the...
Oh, when I play that card, do I have to sing the song?
Thunderstruck.
Thunderstruck.
Dun, 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 dun.
There's a bolt shot. You were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. And then there's that
we're
angel.
now to the angel. And now it looks like we're into some sort of energy.
And I don't know if it has a resource system similar to Magic, where you have like
it's
lands.
got to have some sort of resource system. I mean, look at this, right? I mean, this clearly screams energy to me. You know what I mean?
Did you want to look through this one, or?
No, that's okay.
So that's pretty much that in a nutshell.
I'll look at that one later.
Off cam. We'll put those over there and get them out of the way. I am going to try to not destroy this as much as I'm actively destroying it, considering apparently it just soaked up water. So.
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
From where?
My Coke.
Oh.
Or Pepsi. See, right there.
Jacob,
womp,
Jacob,
womp, womp.
Jacob.
It's a PSA 10.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's PSA.
Not now.
PSA 10.
PSA 2 now.
PSA 2. -1. PSA 0.
Why did you send that in for grading?
Why don't they include a waterproof mat? Gosh. I don't actually know the MSRP on this, so I can't comment on what this costs. I do need to check into that, actually, so that I can get a piece of information.
And it does say age 13 plus on it, so I wonder if that means that there's maybe some language on the cards or something. So I'm not sure why it would have
One last thing is these were what the booster packs look like. If you, I mean, they're standard, you know, style. They just have the artwork, the name of the set on the front. But in case you were
curious. I'm curious why it's 13 plus.
Who knows? But that's Genesis. That's Genesis in a nutshell.
Wild nudity. Maybe it's because of the fighting aspect of the game.
It could very well be. So on a generality scale, what do you know? You've seen Magic, you've seen Pokemon, you've seen Flesh and Blood, now you've seen Genesis. What level? Like if you were at a game store that's sitting on a shelf, so you know, boom, you walk around and you see this guy sitting on the shelf. What do you go up to the guy and say, hey, what is that? Or does this even catch your eye? Like,
yeah, I mean the artwork on the box looks cool. The heroes are nicely done. Now, would I know? So you say I've played Magic, Pokemon, etc., etc. I've looked at Flesh and Blood. Would I know as a nobody in the card world that that's a separate game from either of Magic or Flesh and Blood, or would I think that's just an expansion to one of those games? That would be a question.
Well, that's an interesting.
Because I would look at that initially and I'd say, hey man, what is this? Is this a new, like, you know, we're going to talk about this later, but Pokemon just came out with Lost Origin, right?
Absolutely,
So
yep.
would I think initially, okay, is Genesis a new Magic the Gathering, or is it, you know, just a new chapter in Flesh and Blood, or is it its own game, I guess? I wouldn't know that just by looking at that box, you know?
That makes sense. So,
but I mean, the artwork on the box would draw me in because it looks cool, right?
That's good to know, though, because I mean, you're a good example of.
I'm just going to be honest with you because I'm not super into.
But you're the casual audience. You're literally
exactly.
What I would.
Thanks for calling me out on that.
Hey,
damn.
But
you're casual.
To be completely honest, though, that's 80%, I think, of the market or more. When you really think about it, the hardcore people, like, okay, I'm in YouTube every day watching Flesh and Blood content, watching Magic content, I watch Pokemon content. I spend probably in a given week, I would say 30 to 40 hours listening to YouTube content. Consuming media. But I don't watch TV, really, so that is my version that is my TV.
Media that you consume.
I am hyper focused on keeping up to date with the current trends, the new things, the things that are coming out.
And I am not.
And you, exactly.
So when you ask me that question, that is, if I walked into a gaming store or if I walked into Target, it would be tough in Target or Walmart because there's no one to talk to, right? So you literally pull your phone out and you're like, what the hell is this?
I'm Cheeseburger Man, here to help you, sir.
Yeah, or I don't know, I didn't stock that today, which is what I got today. I went to Target because supposedly the Pokemon Halloween things are out, right? So I went to the guy that's stocking the Halloween section and I said, hey man, have you seen any of the Pokemon Halloween cards? He goes, I don't know, dude. I haven't stocked anything like that. And I was like, well, okay. I guess that means they don't have them yet. You know what I mean? But yeah, if I go into a local game store or, you know, like a small game store that is independently owned or whatever, and there's a lot of helpful people in there.
But there's even different...
That would be my question. I'd be like, what is this? Can you explain it to me?
Well, and on top of that, there are also different levels of game stores. I don't want to be that person to say, but not every game store is created equal. Walking into certain game stores, they will only carry certain brands of product, or they won't carry certain brands. Like, I know Indianapolis, there's probably 10 to 20 game stores total, and of those 10 to 20 game stores, some of them I would call upper echelon, some of them I'd call not upper echelon. I'm not going to specifically name any particular one, but there are certain game stores you can walk into that I know do not carry flesh and blood. They refuse. There are other game stores that will carry it. There are game stores that carry exclusively Pokemon or Magic the Gathering only, or they dabble in board games, or they focus heavily on tabletop miniatures, 40K, War Machine, Infinity.
I mean, that probably just boils down to like a purely financial standpoint, right? Because as a game store, are you going to take a financial risk backing like a Flesh and Blood where it might not sell at all, and then then you got to try to push it online and get your money back or whatever, you know what I mean?
Well, I would just say, I'm just going to round it to 10 stores. I know at least 2 or 3 in the indie area. Technically, it's probably 4, maybe 5 of the 20. So I would say a quarter of the stores in the Indiana area carry Flesh and Blood. I would say 95% of the stores carry Magic. 95% of the stores carry Pokemon. Yeah. I would say 60% carry War Machine. Not War Machine, Warhammer. Probably.
I was going to say War Machine.
Well, there's a couple.
Because it died for
it's
a
back.
long time.
It's back.
You said when you went to
Gen Con,
you were
it's
like, what
back.
the hell? War Machine's back.
Oh, yeah.
All those things that were like discounted for like $3 a piece at the local store.
Fuck out of those.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
You should probably sell them again before it crashes again.
Dude, it's so she
you know what's funny is they probably made those models obsolete so you can't even use them anymore.
I did ask some questions, and what I heard is that my Crix army, my undead, isn't really going to work anymore. Like, it'll work.
Because they had to change the game to get it to come back.
I guess the figures are legal, but they're not going to come out with... There's going to be no new figures for that faction, so slowly it will obviously...
It's a collector's item now,
it will go behind. But
this is when War Machine came out before it crashed the first time.
That's okay. War Machine 1.0 with the cardboard plastic black cards. Rah.
No, but you're right, not every store is going to carry everything.
And they can't.
And that's fine.
I mean, as an example...
only the big boys that have massive space that can carry stuff like that.
We're going to name 3 other indie... I'm going to call them indie TCGs, and no offense to those content, producers, but they really are smaller TCGs. Genesis being one of them. It's newer. You have Sorcery, that's a new one, but that's a Kickstarter right now, and I think it's just now coming out. You have Cryptid, which is another one. That was something that was Kickstarted, and I believe it is coming out. I think the owner of that, his name is Tanner. I think I backed that one. I need to double check. Some of these I avoided because I hate to say I listened to some other people and kind of avoided certain TCGs on purpose, but I was trying to play it safe. I didn't back certain ones. Grand Archive's another one. I just remember that one. But so there's like 4 or 5. They call them the Kickstarter TCGs. And the problem is that you really didn't know if any of them were going to succeed. And if you put any amount of money into them, there is a chance that you'll never get that money back. And for my level of risk, I was not comfortable with that. I was happy with my Flesh and Blood. I was happy with Pokemon. I was happy with Magic. I was happy with Yu-Gi-Oh! I am excited that so far... Genesis has produced content. Cryptid, I believe in them. I see what they're doing. I don't think I got on their Kickstarter, but I see the updates. I see his content create. He releases stuff. I see that's going somewhere. Sorcery, I think there's been a couple delays. That's coming, but they may not be super soon. Grand Archive was another one that I believe they are releasing things, but then there was a couple others that I think just fell off the radar, and they never even, I don't even know if they released stuff. So there was a couple I think that just straight up failed or took your money and scammed off.
And that's the worry with Kickstarter, right? Because
Kickstarter's not a guarantee.
Exactly. And you know, you see it all the time in video games that are kickstarted.
So here's
they're like, we're a small indie company, help us develop, and then, you know, they get $1 million or they hit their goal of 500,000, and they're like, we don't have any more money, we need some more money,
so
and then they get a little more. They go solvent or whatever, and the company disappears with all the money, and they never produce anything except for like a rendering video, which you could make, you know, in a couple weeks or a month. Well, this is what
pay somebody on Fiverr.
Yeah, no, for real though. You know what I mean? But back to what you were saying, you never know with Kickstarter. You have to actually look into it. You gotta look into the company, see if they've got a reputation, see if they've already got. Like, I don't know the Genesis guy or I haven't looked at any Kickstarter page.
Assad is the creator, and I believe Joey has joined the content creation as the marketing manager. Sorry, I don't know your exact title, but he's in marketing with that game. So they're growing slowly but steadily, and obviously we physically have.
Oh no, yeah, we have packs. We could play now.
Right now.
We broke out the rules and we were like, you know what, screw it, let's just play. We could do that, which is awesome, you know. But yeah, Kickstarter is always a toss of the coin.
Well, and I have at least 3 to 5 Kickstarters that I have probably $2,000 to $3,000 tied up in that I'm never going to see. There was like a solar panel one, I think it was called Solar Crew. There was the automated cat litter box. There was another solar panel thing. There was a board game that never came to fruition. I think there's another board game. So there was multiple boxes that have failed. And then an example of one that took forever was, well, literally here, Beth, right behind you, I think there's a box. I just got a Kickstarter, a random box the other day, and it was a Kickstarter from like a year and a half ago. And then it's the cardboard, it's the cardboard terrain one that's underneath that box. And then the Jupiter, that resin printer, I backed that, and that took, I think that took about a year. Yeah, so this is pretty crazy. This is Acid House terrain.
It's backwards.
It's heavy.
It is actually pretty heavy. I'd say this is probably 7 pounds, maybe 6 pounds, probably.
No, it's beefy. But if you look at the back of it, it has. I hate to say that I love Kickstarter. I think I've almost backed 100 Kickstarters. You know.
Well, it's a great website, and it's awesome for creators, right? Because if you have a great idea,
but I fall into that.
You can get like a little design, and then you can have people fund it for you, and then you can get rich.
I fall into that weird. Oh, it says I have backed 92 projects. And I think there's a couple. Yeah, there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's like 10 that it says unsuccessful, failed, or I dropped, or they did. Like I've backed out of a couple of them.
Because you know, it's funny that you mentioned Kickstarter. I used to look into D&D dice, right? And there was this one Kickstarter where this, I think it was a lady. She made this specialized dice, and she had sold like 30 or 40,000 sets of these dice. Between $10 to $20 a piece, and it was all because of Kickstarter, you know.
So to give you an idea, just because I was looking at this real quick, I have Genesis Battle of Champions. I backed at $1, which is I call it the safe reward. I get to see the updates, get to understand stuff. So while I didn't actually get a reward, I backed it enough to say I'm following the updates, and I didn't get any of the product. So that one, I backed Sorcery. I do have, that was about 131 New Zealand dollars, so for Sorcery, I'm getting the starter decks so that we can learn to play, and I think I get a booster box. So I'll have those coming when that comes out. Cryptic, I did the same thing. It's 173 US dollars, so I believe that's the starter decks, and I get 1 booster box. So that's what I did with that one. And then I missed out, I think on Grand Archive, I actually backed it, but then I dropped my backing it was $205 is what I backed on the Grand Archive, but I kind of dropped out of that one. I think it was just, I guess I got scared. I don't remember exactly why. I just know that I kind of said, I have enough on the plate that's already pending, and I kind of said, I'm just going to put my chips down, and I put my chips on the 3, and I'll circle back to Grand Archive sooner or later.
The 205 you have on Grand Archive, aren't you going to get something for that?
No, because I dropped.
So you have to continue paying monthly.
No. So I backed at the whatever level it was, 205, and then what I did was I essentially took my credit card out of the system so that it wouldn't. So it wouldn't charge. So basically, I said, "Hey, I backed it, but something's not right," and I dropped it. So that's
you didn't actually pay that.
no. But I would have paid $205 to back that game.
Gotcha.
But I opted to just say, not my cup of tea.
You got like 4 already. Yeah.
I'll circle back around to him sooner or later. I mean, they obviously, I see other content creators talking about him. They have surpassed that, I'm a dumb stage, and I see that they're producing. They're going to get there. I'm not worried about them. There were other ones that were even smaller that I hit like the follow button on, and I didn't back at all.
Yeah.
So now I didn't get like content creator specific things for any of these. Obviously, the only thing I've really got is, from Genesis, I was able to get these starters to learn, and then obviously from there, if we like the game, we can continue to grow and flourish and see things. From my perspective as a store, an online CCG store single seller, primarily in the Flesh and Blood, Magic, and Pokemon, I want to get on the train of, if there are single cards, I want to purchase boxes to buy the single cards, to list the singles for sale for the players. That would be my goal for Genesis at some point. It's my goal right now for Flesh and Blood. That's where I'm primarily focused on that.
But with the Genesis, this is all they have right now, right?
Actually, Genesis, I don't know.
Well, I mean,
so Joey,
hero-wise, is this all the heroes they have?
Give me 1 second.
They're still Kickstartering, right?
Actually, so the Kickstarter's a misnomenclature, I guess. So there was a Kickstarter, but they have had a beta set, a JRE set, a RAZ set, and then J2, which is the reimagination, I believe, of the first 3 sets in one. So this is from 2021.
This one says second edition.
Yes. So this is like all the first 3 sets have been.
There's something at the bottom of the card that'll tell us exactly what set it is.
Well, it's J2. It's from Jalara.
This is J2.
Yeah, they call it Jalara
so
the second.
This is the newest then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I believe, again, this is where, so Joey said he would actually...
Because I was wondering, you mentioned you want singles to sell to the players.
Oh, yeah.
If there's not very many cards yet, there's not really any point in having a bunch of singles to sell to the players.
Well, that is very true. It depends on the size of the community as well.
Exactly, yeah.
But let's look at this from the flip side, too. And this is where a good conversation, sooner or later, again, Joey was nice enough to... I asked him, I said, could we maybe get you on for an interview at some point so we could do something like this and Joey could be on a webcam and we could talk and ask questions back and forth live.
Yeah,
he'll answer
really
things. Cool. So that might be a possibility in the future. But even for right now, as you look at it from any game perspective, singles are the lifeblood of any game. Pokemon, you hit some really fantastic cards in the box that you opened earlier. And later on this one, we're going to open up a couple of Pokemon cards just to kind of spice this one up a bit. I think we actually have the brand new set here, Lost Origin. So we're going to pop some of these open on camera. And then Poke Penguin later will be opening on the YouTube channel with a regular video, ETB, and a couple other boost. Yeah, so this was kind of weird too because typically these are... What are these?
14 decks to open?
Well, it's this. Yeah, this is what was so weird. This is just
not a build and battle.
It's not a build and battle. It's just 6 booster packs, and I didn't understand that when I first looked at it. So that leads me into the next big thing. Is I want to make sure that you have something. So I'm going to hand you these 2 items right here. I opened one earlier just to show some people, but these are the Uprising Flesh and Blood Blitz.
This is the one version of the game, right? Like the smaller version game?
This is the quicker to play Blitz game. And if you want, we can go to the overhead here and we can talk about this. But these are now yours. So you're going to go home with these.
Hell yeah.
So this is Dromai, this is the Illusionist, and this is Fae, which is basically the ninja, and she's draconic. Now, if you want, because this is already open, we can go through and I can talk you through some of these cards. But this is really, frankly, this is basically your very first exposure to Flesh and Blood.
It is, yeah. I'm extremely excited. This looks
now,
fun.
I will tell you that the one caveat to these cards, which is really weird, and I'm just going to put this on top here because this is something
there we go.
As a semi. I don't want to call. I'm not a professional player. I'm not a brand new player, but I am probably at the lower echelon of, like, if you used a 5-star system, like what this is telling you how complex this deck is, I'm probably a 1.5 or a 2-star player.
At quality of playing?
Yes.
Like, that's your strategy level.
I have picked my favorite hero, which is Dash. She's the Mechanologist, steampunk, my favorite kind of style of thing. But this
Sorry,
here,
OCD.
you look at this and you see the difficulty on this. Now, go ahead and pop this open.
Okay, so I'm curious because it says difficulty,
Yep.
right? Now,
So
is
pop-
that like Pokemon? Because Pokemon will rank their decks that you can buy, the pre-made decks, by like up to 3, right? And it tells you competitive levelness of the deck, basically, right?
So we will need to get I will call an expert on to chat with us.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you talk to a higher tier player,
Oh,
there
this is
are
a cool card.
there are yings and yangs to every style of deck. So this Illusionist deck is weak against another thing, but then the Dromai deck is weak against maybe, let's say, something else, but then the...
Don't want to play with this deck. Jeez, look at this. Difficulty 2.
No. So
that's probably makes it easier to play.
What
is
if
that what it is?
Well, so this is where this is really, in my opinion, deceiving. What if I told you, I'm going to go back just to get your face reaction on this. What if I told you that this deck, I have seen videos of it doing upwards of 40 plus damage in a single turn to a hero because it can go really wide. It can attack and then go again and again and again and again and again in the same turn. If you don't stop that, it can just go really wide and go whittle, whittle, whittle. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts. It's kind of like a ninja. But then Dromai is the exact opposite. It's more, and again, I don't know the play perfectly, but you use dragons and you have ash tokens that convert and fall into, you basically convert those into little dragons that are basically creatures on the field, and now I have to deal with those. And if I don't, you get to continually ping me for damage. And then you have big-ass dragons that are not necessarily in this deck.
So it's like a swarm deck or something.
Kind of, yeah, but it also has a different play effect, a play style to it. So each of these drive completely different. This is, if I call this a sports car, maybe that's a Miata. I don't know. I mean, that's probably a horrible example, but each of them are different. It's a Ford and a Chevy. They're in the same, they got 4 wheels, they still do the same thing. They fall within the same rules, but they act and play totally different.
Yeah, I mean, they're just completely different
So,
decks.
like,
You know
let's
what I mean?
let's even focus on here. We'll talk you through the 2 heroes, just on the very, very tip top of walking you through here. So, for those that don't know what we're looking at here, these are the 2 heroes. So, if you read Phi's ability and Dromai's ability, go ahead and you'll notice they both have a 4 in the bottom. That's your intellect.
Yep.
That's your hand size. So you have 4 cards.
Okay.
Then you have 20. That's your health.
Okay.
Then you'll have a name at the top, and then a photo, and then some game text, and at the bottom you'll see a title. So what's unique is in the next set, Dynasty, the thing that I am the most pumped about, that is the first time in the game they're releasing a dual class hero. So typically right now you are like a warrior, a ninja, a brute, a guardian. So there's tons. There's like at least 12 classes, not necessarily official. I mean, hold on, let me get... I don't know the exact... I'd have to name them all out, but basically, if you go... You have Brute, Guardian, Illusionist, Mechanologist, Merchant, Ninja, Ranger, Runeblade, Shapeshifter, Warrior, and Wizard. Shapeshifter is kind of I don't say a meme one, but it's not perfect at the moment. So I'm going to go back to here. All right, so what are the 2 abilities? So if you look here at the bottom...
Fae, if that's how you pronounce it.
Fae or Phi. I don't know what the proper...
Yeah, I'm not sure either. I guess it could go either way. So it says, once per turn instant, 3 red symbols. So I'm guessing maybe that's like energy or some sort.
So
like
that's called
a resource?
That's a resource, but I will explain that in a second, because this game has a very unique resource system, unlike every other game I've ever played. And that is why I fell in love with this game.
So it says, return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less red energy for each draconic chain link you control.
Okay, and that's a resource. So the red is basically going to be your pitch. It's a resource.
Yeah, and then the Dromai says, if you've played a red card this turn, dragons you control have go again while attacking. And then it says in parentheses, if an attacking dragon dies before chain link resolution, you don't go again.
Okay.
So I imagine that, so without any knowledge, that makes me think that the dragons get to attack again.
Gotcha.
That's what so if I just opened it up like I just did and just read it without knowing any of the rules, that's what I would instantly think.
Have you ever played Flux, the game?
No, I don't think so.
So the core of the game, Flux, which I have many versions of Flux, but here's one here. So when you play Flux, since about a week ago. Yeah, you probably...
I got really addicted really quickly.
It's a fun...
I bought all of them.
It's a stupid fun game.
Well, Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek series, so...
Yeah, so in this game, all right, you see how this is basically, and sounds really dumb, but I don't know if I've ever heard anybody compare this to this. Imagine this is like a game of Flux, but instead of draw 1, you're drawing 4, and you get to play 1. Because the rules basically say you have 1 action point on your turn. So you get to do 1 action. Now, if you have go again, or gain go again somehow, your action point refills. So if you play 1 thing, and that is all you can do, you've drawn your 4 to your hand, and now you've played your 1. So there is a weird similarity that I've found that Flux has to Flesh and Blood, but I only recognized it once I kind of played more Flux. Now, whether that's intentional or not, I don't know, because it's not exactly it. But before we move these off to the side, let's talk about my head in the way. Sorry. Read the titles here. So you're going to see there's a couple other in that the class section.
So Phi says she or he, whatever, is a draconic ninja hero.
And it is
young.
Okay, so what's the next one?
And Dromai says that she is a draconic illusionist hero, young.
Okay, so what is the big difference between these two that you see here?
One says illusionist and one says ninja.
Perfect. So what that basically means is that you are locked into these classes. So you can't play illusionist cards.
Exactly.
You can't basically do this.
I can't mix the decks.
You can't go like that. That would not work because those decks don't play because you now have ninja cards in the wrong deck.
Don't confuse me.
So we're gonna actually go a little deeper. So put those up here, and we're gonna go a little deeper into this deck. So you've already seen these. Now, did you read the how to play? Because this talks to you a little bit about the how to play each deck.
Oh, okay. No, I did not. So this says, let me read this here.
Here, I'm gonna actually flip back to you so that go ahead and read that.
Don't flip to me. I'm super zoomed in and blurry.
We'll get you fixed.
That's what she said. All right. So this says how to play. Phi is an aggro synergy deck. Sequence your chain links to unleash the draconic talent. Use Inflame, Flame Call Awakening, or Rise from the Ashes to assemble the Phoenix Rebellion, then rise up to overthrow the opposition.
Perfect.
And then Dromai says, Dromai is a combo control deck. Bide your time, building up Ash while you defend heavily. Rake the Embers plus Silken Form plus Red Hot, paid for by Deep Blue, is your key combo. Amass a horde of Ash Wings to hit Rupture and set the arena ablaze.
Now, I'm sure not a lot of that makes terrible sense at the moment.
I'm guessing that those are card names of spells or minions or something. I'm guessing basically you defend with everything you fucking got while you're building up this big ass wombo combo.
Wombo.
And if you don't lose before you get your wombo combo off, you win the fucking game. Pardon my French.
What's funny is they
Spanish,
literally just they named a new deck. They named
Wombo combo.
They named a dash.
No.
In the character I like dash, they actually named one called the Wombat Dash deck. I think DM Armada came up with that.
Wombo combo. Every time you see Wombat Dash or whatever, you're gonna go back. Oh,
What's funny is I know you haven't seen any of his episodes, so it's funny. Now I am gonna pause for just a second, so I'll be right back after these messages here.
Oh.
Are we fading back? All right, so we're back. All right.
Did you turn the recording on again?
Yeah, recording is back. So validation of things is key. So I was kind of playing a little bit of the how to play video that is the official video, so you could see that. But if you want, so this is for Phi. This is the special card that goes with Phi. You'll notice that there's an upper section in the top right there. This is your cost to play that card.
Yep.
And unlike Magic or Pokemon where you have to have like energy or lands, this card is never a dead card. Any card's never a dead card because it has multiple things you can do. So there are 4 corners. There's attack, sometimes this is defense, this is the what it costs to play, this is the pitch for resources basically. So this would pitch for 1 resource. This would attack for 0. This would basically, and it has an ability. So she triggers with, or they, them, he triggers with that card. Mm-hmm. Now, the next one you have here is the actual weapon. And in a traditional game, which we'll explain very more in depth when we have the mat out here in another video, This is going to be the weapon. So the weapon would stay out on the field.
With the character.
This is part of your equipment slots. You'll have a head, a chest, a feet, and an arms. So this is your headpiece. That's your chest piece. That's your arms. And that's your legs.
Yep.
So,
and for those that can't read it, it says it in the description in the middle at the bottom. It says, like this one says, generic equipment, legs and arms and chest. And then I assume this is hood. So head.
Yep. And
so
these,
that's how you know that those are your armor pieces.
These never get shuffled in your deck. They're
always out.
They're out.
Yeah.
So your deck consists of, now this one would, in her version, this is left out on purpose.
Yeah, because that's her ability or whatever.
This is the remainder of your deck. And in this Blitz format, this would get shuffled up. This lives in your graveyard so that you can use that. But that's this would be what is shuffled up and played. This is what, is just out there. And also on the back of these, by the way, they did give you a cool art if you didn't see that exists as well.
Yeah, that's neat.
So we'll put these away for now. But that's kind of the real basic rundown of kind of some of the starting to kind of get your teeth wet on that. And again, you'll get sent home with these so that you can mess around with it. Now,
so I can master them and kick your butt.
What's super fun about this is that if you have a webcam, which I know that you stream, so since you have a webcam at your house, we can set a webcam up, and I can play at my house, and you can play at your house, and we can play over the webcam.
Well, I'm not sure if I can get my webcam pointing down.
Gotcha.
That's the only limitation I would have.
But in the spirit of Flesh and Blood, we would like to play in the Flesh and Blood, so we're going to try to have you come over.
Right here.
And because I can change out my lenses up here, we can get a really wide-angle lens from my other camera over there, and then we can basically play, and we can capture.
Domination.
Yeah, you can totally just sweep me under the rug.
Total domination.
All right, so that covered the Flesh and Blood portion. We do have some Pokemon. I guess we'll take that and do another video, but I did want to...
hell, I'll open mine on camera now.
Oh, you want to open yours on camera?
Yeah,
okay,
sure.
So we'll throw some packs up there.
Since, Pokey Penguin's going to open your guys'
Oh, yeah.
We'll give
Oh, wait, did you get you got a different... Oh, look at you.
Yeah, they came with two.
Oh, so you little son of a gun.
Reggie Gigas.
I like Reggie Gigas. I'll trade you my Weavile for your Reggie Gigas.
No, because I have a Weavile.
Damn it! But I like my Giggers.
Well, I am sorry.
My Giggers
specifically said
my Giggers.
We want both of them, honey.
I want my Giggers.
And then, of course, I think that's Farfetch'd right there, right?
Isn't that? Or it's Surf? No, that's actually Surfetch'd, right? Because the
Surfetch'd. Does he have the shield with it or whatever?
Surfetch'd, yep.
All right. So
what does this look like?
Packs here.
Oh, and for those of you online here, so there's your...
Oh, you fuck... Alright. So I'm going to pull the big boy out of this pack.
Oh, man, you opened it off camera. No one's going to believe it now.
I'm not.
Gosh, no one's going to believe anything. It's like pulling that chart. By the way, we literally just saw on her Facebook newsfeed, it was, 2 years ago?
From where she pulled
2 years ago,
Charizard.
and it came across, so...
Alright, so let's see. What do you do? 4?
3?
4 and under.
All right.
And you got that. So we got a damage pump.
Oh, here, there you go. Now you're in the middle. Now you're
see,
there.
I'm not a professional.
All right, what do we got? We got
our Pokey Penguin here.
Damage pumping.
And then we've got a Seviper. A Stunfisk.
We got a Clefairy.
A Clefairy.
A Slugma.
A Slugma.
Oh, the art of that Lickitung is pretty cool.
Dude, the artwork on a lot of these are super cool. Like, look at that Growlithe. Isn't that neat?
That's an Alolan Growlithe.
Yeah. Or no, it's a Hisuian.
Or Hisuian. Husun.
You have to pardon me. I don't know my pronunciations.
Nobody knows.
And then a Sudowoodo.
Sudowoodo! And Dugong.
Alright, so that's one pack down.
Yes!
Nothing big so far. Come on, baby.
But the art is just...
Yeah, the artwork on almost all these cards
Pokemans. They smell like new cards.
They should. They are brand new.
Damage pump. Move up to 2 damage counters. Ooh.
There's a bunch of cool new supporters and stuff in there too. So we got a Cascoon.
Okay.
An Ambipom. An Ambipom. An Abomasnow. Another Slugma. A Seedot. Look at that. That looks like... Yeah. Is this a picture? Like they just placed something in clover and took a picture?
It could. They
Look
do
at
some.
that. Doesn't
They
that
do
look
some
like
real
that?
interesting.
That
Yeah.
looks like they took like a little figure
a
and
three-
just took a picture of it, right?
Yeah.
So we got an Oddish, a Poliwag,
Ooh,
a Politoed, and a Comfy.
that's cool. The
Come
Politoed.
on. Yeah, that is super cool. So we got one more pack to go.
Now, didn't you hit like a Charizard on one of the other ones last time you opened? Because I think you said you sold that to Valkyrie's Vault, didn't you, Chase?
So I hit a Secret Art Charizard. I have a Gold Mew at home, so I haven't turned that one in. Actually, we have. My wife decided to buy this little glass mushroom jar,
Okay.
and that's where all of our fancy, like over $20 Pokemon cards live. And we have
Oh.
like 6 or 7 in there right now.
Ooh, it's an expensive glass jar.
It is actually, well, actually, yeah, now it is. But yeah, so we got that going.
It's a honky tonker.
All right, last
Last
chance
pack.
right here at something good. So wind-up arm. This thing's super cool, by the way. You know? Do you know? Have you seen that one?
No.
So that allows you to attack even if you're asleep or paralyzed.
Sounds
Right.
broken.
Super cool Machoke art here. Yeah, it's neat.
That
A
looks
Mirage Gate. This was the thing I was telling you about. You can only use this card if you have 7 or more in the Lost Zone, which I don't know anything about yet because I haven't read the rules.
cool. Ludwig.
There's a Snover, a Litwick, a Mienfoo, a
They brought
Litleo.
back Minfu.
Yes. Ooh, look at that.
What is that?
Look at that.
Oh man, what is that?
Snorlax.
My wife is gonna go freaking nuts. She loves Snorlax. So that looks like that's some kind of alternate art. Snorlax.
Oh, TG Trainer
Is it a
Gallery. Unfizzled fat. Unfizzled.
Look at the shine on that. That is a beautiful card.
I can't even get it to.
To focus on it.
Here, we can do. I'll get my head out the way.
Yeah, that is super cool.
I do
I
like
don't
the.
know if it's worth anything, but man, that is a pretty card.
I
We got a
I
trainer
know a
card
friend
at
that
home
really
as well.
enjoys Snorlax.
Dude,
Alex.
that is super cool artwork.
It is definitely
You got
sweet.
the guy like they're at like a little bit of a Asian shop or something, throwing down some. What is that? Looks like some buns, man. All right, well those are mine.
So here we're gonna that'll lead us into the next next piece. So if you wanna
well, the
take
wife
a
will be excited
take a
about
look, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. So you can look at my screen here as we talk through this. But we're gonna so Disney,
that. Yes.
Papa Disney,
Papa
See-
Disney as
see-
opposed
On top of
to
earlier
See-
Mama
releases.
Disney.
Senior Disney is
Okay.
entering the TCG arena.
Oh my God.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
There is a new card game that is being announced called Lore. Now, how would you pronounce this?
I would pronounce it Lorcana.
Okay, so it's not
Which
Lorcana.
is- No, Lorcana.
Lorcana.
Because- which makes me question because League of Legends came out with the Arcana show or whatever, didn't they? Wasn't that the name of the?
Disney has so many IPs, so
all over
intellectual
the place.
properties, that
They're
they're
all
going to
over
be
the
able
place.
to make this. So Ravensburger is the company that is behind doing this, and this is an exclusive card that you're going to get if you were to go to where they're releasing this. I believe it's at the D23 Expo. But inside of here, it looks like there's probably a cost of some sort. We don't really know what this is just yet. I'm assuming this is attack and defense.
Yeah, I bet you that's his health.
Okay,
I
well,
bet that's his health at the top, and then that's attack and defense at the bottom.
well, I think that's how much it costs to. Well, if he has a defense, I would assume that's how much it costs to play him. Versus, so I think this is a cost to play. This is attack and defense, and I'm not sure what this symbol here is. Maybe this is like exhaust this or pitch it like in Flesh and Blood for.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's so many symbols that.
But he's a Dreamborn
only
hero.
Characters with invasive can challenge this character. Did you see that?
Yeah, and then this is Snitch or Stitch.
Snitch?
Snitches,
Wait,
snitches get
what? And this
snitches
is-
get stitches.
And this is Snitch. He's carrying a guitar.
There you got Robin Hood
Ah,
here.
dude, I love that movie.
Captain Hook, I really want
See,
that card.
And you know what the problem is Disney's doing this because they know that those of us that grew up on these old shows are gonna like, for nostalgia, they're gonna be like, yo, I want to collect this stuff.
Oh, absolutely. This is
we're the prime age
this
for
is
collectors.
A total ability of getting all the cash infused is basically like 100% on this.
Disney's like, we want this money for trading card games.
Absolutely.
We want the cardboard crack money.
And then there's there's Elsa. Back to the thing.
Not me. That's
Elsa, yeah. and if you look, the artwork matches, even though it was a 3D thing. So they got a 2D drawing of it. They got Cruella de Vil, Maleficent, the dragon.
Those are so many, like, I don't know if I assume they're heroes or whatever, right? But look at how many they're launching with.
Well, this is actually just basically the D23 special. Like, you get this as like, hey, these are the first early adopters of this game.
Thanks for showing up.
Kind of a thing, yeah. And who knows where this is going to go, but I can foresee that they're saying it might be competitive, that might be casual, but the thing is I can just see this being a thing where you have kids. So, like, if you were to basically, if your kid sees this on a shelf, they'd be like, Dad, buy me a couple of these.
Well, and I don't know if you've ever been to Disney World, but when I
was
the pins.
Younger, the pins are
yes,
freaking huge.
That's what I was going to say.
Pins.
When I was younger, it was all about the pins.
Yeah.
And, you know, you buy a couple pins, you go to the place, and then you end up trading. You trade with the employees that work there.
Yep.
You're like, oh my gosh, can I have that pin? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. Can I have this one? And you're like, yeah, sure. You know, because you end up getting pins that you're not really that interested in or whatnot. But then you get something super cool, and you're like, you know, those have good memories. Like I used to have a bunch of pins. Obviously, I don't anymore because of what we talked about earlier. But you know, opening up the box before that, you know, unfortunate situation happened, it just brings back all those memories. Like, man, I remember being, you know, going into the German restaurant and trading the waitress for this one little German Mickey Mouse, and it had, you know, it had his name in German or whatever, and it was like, that was such a cool, you know, because he wore the Lederhosen or whatever.
Sure.
You know, but it was just so cool because it's like, bam, that's a concrete memory from when I was like 9 or 10.
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I think is so unique is they have just so much that they can do with it. So
unbelievable what they can do with anything, honestly. I mean,
but I think this is where we sign out for this episode and wrap it up. Any final thoughts, comments?
No. I think we did a good job of covering a lot of different topics today.
So
yeah.
I appreciate everybody tuning in, and you know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell, hit the comment button. You'll see us around. We got more stuff. I know that this wasn't necessarily a Fablorian, so this is going to go on the main channel because we're just talking about general stuff. But when we talk about the Flesh and Blood lore, we'll drop that back on the Fab lore portion of the channel. Otherwise, this is just been a general nice catch-up and go from there. So, see ya. Peace.
See you later.
Bye. I can disappear. I forgot about that.
Oh, you made that?
I can
Play with it. Oh, cool. It's like a little ball of glitter on the inside.
I am a glitching matrix of personalities. I'm a glitching matrix of personalities. Yeah. Ta-da! Can I still
That's
do that?
neat.
Oh, hey,
That's
wow!
You're really big. Quit eating me, Jacob. Quit eating me,
You
Jacob.
don't even look like you're eating him.
Is that better?
Oh, hey, look, there's the real green screen. Only the smart people.
What is this? What is the orange thing?
Orange thing, what do you mean?
You don't see the orange discoloration, the triangle on your forearm and my shoulder, or my forearm and your shoulder?
So if I had to make a wild guess, I think that one of these cameras has a LUT. So if you look at this is going to be this is an exaggerated version of the final output. So that is what we look like with
God damn, I look tan.
with the color. I use a LUT and then I adjust the LUT.
Brought to you from the surface of the sun. Covered in piss and urine. Damn it, dogs. Go outside.
That's 4. Now, if I hit